Hello, I'm Annie, and these are my musings. We need to talk about Doctor Who. Before we get started, though, a few disclaimers because I know how this fandom is. First of all, I'm not saying that my way of viewing the show is the only way to do it, rather that it should be considered as an option. From my perspective, so many people have such a rigid view of what the show can and can't be, and I think it's hurting the show and the fans of it. Second of all, there's a huge difference between criticism and hate. Criticism is constructive and comes from a place of wanting the thing to be better. For example, this writing is harmful because of X reason. Hate is not constructive at all, and comes from a place of dislike and sometimes even prejudice. Now, not all hate is equal. It is possible to be hateful without being prejudiced, but the two do often go together. For an example of hate, everyone who likes the 13th Doctor is stupid. Now, notice how that goes after real people for their opinions and preferences about fictional characters, and does not have anything to do really with the actual writing acting show. An example of turning that hatred into criticism would be, I don't like the 13th Doctor because X. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know I absolutely love the 13th Doctor and her era. Was it perfect? No. But what created by us flawed human beings is. Obviously no one has to like any Doctor or any era of the show. Everyone has different tastes in fiction after all. But this video is about how to engage or not with things that aren't necessarily to your taste. No one's forcing people to watch Doctor Who or be in the fandom for it. And I think what I don't understand is why. Why engage so much with something you clearly hate? Not just dislike, but full-on hate. Now some people may say, but I've been a fan of Classic Who, and that doesn't give you a right to hate on the new show and make those who do like it feel bad. And obviously here, I'm not talking about actual criticism. Criticism is constructive, as I said before. I'm talking about those who have a very narrow and rigid vision of the show, who think that anything that deviates from that sucks, without even giving it a chance. For example, when Jodie Whittaker was cast as the Doctor, I was genuinely excited. The Doctor was going to be a woman, finally. But there are those who are all like, and still are, but, the Doctor is a man. And I'm not saying all of the people saying that are misogynists. Most of them probably are, but some of them just can't see beyond the first 12 people cast as the Doctor and think the character has to stay a white man forever because it doesn't make sense otherwise. There's only one problem with that. A, the Doctor as a character was never going to stay a white man forever because there's nothing about the character that is solely masculine or white. B, that would be boring and make the show very limited in terms of where it could go. C, Jodie and Judy are the Doctor, whether you like it or not. Deal with it. Or don't. Just don't make your not dealing with it everyone else's problem by polluting the fandom with your hatred. Now that last one might sound rude, but let me explain. The fact of the matter is that Jodie Whittaker, a white woman, and Ncuti Gatwa, a black man, have both portrayed main incarnations of the Doctor. There is no reason, besides hatred, to deny that. And you don't get to take those incarnations away from people who they mean a lot to just because you don't understand how regenerating alien could change race or gender. That's quite frankly not your business. You can't rewrite the show into your image, nor should you be able to, because that would make the show boring and stagnant. And a stagnant show has no future. Genuinely, I don't think this way about the show. From the beginning of my time watching Doctor Who, now full disclosure, I have not seen Classic Who yet, though I will get around to watching it as soon as possible. I started with 9 and got into the show through the RTD era 1.0. Now, was it perfect? No. Did all of it age well? No. Are there issues? Absolutely. But do any of these things ruin my enjoyment of the show? The answer to that is a definite no. Nothing created by us imperfect humans is perfect. However, a story having issues does not mean it is completely irredeemable, or that it can't have good qualities too. But when I started watching Doctor Who, I immediately realized that change and renewal was built into the show. And I've wanted the Doctor to be a woman since I first knew regeneration was a thing. No one. Let me repeat that. No one gets to take that away from me because the Doctor being anything but a white man doesn't make sense to them. In fact, I fail to see how it makes any sense to make that argument, given that Doctor Who is a fictional sci-fi story. If you can believe that the dogs attacked the Earth, you can believe the Doctor can be a woman, non-binary, or a person of color. Jodie and Judy's doctors get so much hate. And for what? They're just actors playing a role. You don't have to like their doctors at all. But there are ways to express that in a constructive way. Ways that aren't whining because the show isn't going your way. Because here's the thing. If the Doctor remained a white man forever, that would be boring. The show would eventually stagnate. There would be nowhere new for the stories to go. I know not everyone likes 13th era. Loads of people hate it, in fact. So, congratulations, haters. You got what you wanted. The Doctor is a man again, and everyone hates the woman who dared to play the role. Except that's not accurate. Because most people who are normal in the fandom have no issue with Jodie playing the role, or Shooty for that matter. And those who whined about Jodie are also whining about Shooty, because how dare he be black and queer? That's not the Doctor. But who is the Doctor to you? To me, the Doctor represents hope, they represent kindness, intelligence, always being willing to learn. What about those traits says the character can only be a white man? Exactly. Nothing. So, so I'll say it. The reason you probably think the Doctor needs to remain a white man is likely because you're a white man who doesn't want his worldview challenged by all of these people of color and LGBTQ plus people and women. But you know what? Tough. If people of color can deal with majority white protagonists, you can deal with this. If women and non-binary people can deal with majority male protagonists, you can deal with this. If LGBTQ plus people can deal with majority cishet protagonists, you can deal with this. You can deal with no longer being able to self-insert into the Doctor. Because shockingly, the world does not revolve around you, or me, or anyone. We're all in it together. And everyone, yes, everyone, deserves to see themselves in the media they consume, including Doctor Who. No one is above anyone, but with the way some people in this fandom are acting, you'd think white men were superior or something. But they're not. No one is. We're all equal, and everyone deserves representation. End of story. Now, the reason I feel so strongly about this is that if you give some of the haters an inch, they'll take a mile. If you agree that the doctor can't be a woman or a person of color, I would never agree with that logic, but hypothetically, then they'll start arguing about the companions and how they should all be white cishet men too. As I said in my Toxic Fandoms video, you just have to ignore these people and not give them power over the show or the fandom. But that's a lot easier said than done when they're the loudest and most obnoxious voices in the fandom. Here's the thing. You don't have to agree with the doctor being able to change their gender or race, but simply don't watch or engage with the show if that's the case. Because it's already happened, and it will continue to happen. So if all you have to offer the fandom is complaining about it, you really have nothing to offer. No one who likes the show wants to hear your hate, so stick to the first 12 doctors and leave the fandom now alone. Thank you. Now, I fully expect to get a lot of hatred and negativity for this video, but I just had to say it, to show that not everyone agrees with these people's narrow and rigid view of the show or the doctor as a character. The doctor is hope and intelligence and kindness, and none of these traits are exclusive to white men. You don't have to like the doctor changing, but simply leave the show and its fandom alone instead of constantly complaining about things that have already happened. The doctor was a woman. The doctor is now a black queer man. If you can't deal with either of those things, then go away and leave the show and its fandom alone, because you have nothing except hate. And again, I'm not talking about actual criticism of the writing, etc. That's fine. I might not agree with all of it, but that's fine. I'm talking about hatred for the character of the Doctor ever changing. And for those who this video is calling out, sorry. Not sorry. It had to be said. Please exit the fandom, or just focus on the parts you like. Because you're truly ruining it for the rest of us who just want to have fun and enjoy the show without your constant complaining about things you don't like. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. For more Doctor Who and pop culture content, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching this video. Bye.